Hi, in this module is about flights. So I will just read for you, okay? So about this one, okay? So in this module, you are going to learn the intricacies of booking flights for your clients. Most people do not understand how complex a flight is. Most clients believe they are buying a seat on a plane and do not realize the complexity of a flight ticket. This module aims to introduce to you the basics of flying and to make sure you are comfortable booking flights for your clients. Travel advisors maintain a healthy profit margin by bundling flights into a dynamic package, charter package, or even utilize wholesale net rates. It is important to do this because through the years, revenues on flights have dramatically decreased. Airlines have decreased the commissions and in some instances to 0%. It is important to value your time, and this module aims to provide the tools to quote and book a flight efficiently and accurately. Yan. So, ito naman ang ating video. So, I'll just play it. Just play it, this one. So, this one here. Basic 6, yan. So basics, lesson 1, basics. This lesson is going to introduce you to the very basics of flights. You will start by learning the proper vocabulary, understanding this simple method to communicate in a clear and concise method will avoid costly misunderstandings. You are also going to be given your first look at loyalty programs, aiding you in deciding which airline to select when starting your inquiry. So topics covered in this lesson: phonetic alphabet, 24-hour clock and time zones, Canadian Air Force, and the IATA codes, ticket types, and airline alliances and frequent flyer points. So what's the Fair Connect basic flights training video? Ayan. So I'll just play this one.
This is Fair Connect's flights training. We're going to begin with the basics. However, I want to start with letting you know the revenue on a flight-only booking is going to be very small. So while you're qualifying your clients, you should really begin with where are you planning to stay and what type of activities do you want to do. This can increase the booking, earning you more revenue and having a higher profit margin for the file as a whole. These are going to be the topics that we're going to talk about. We're going to go into the phonetic alphabet, 24-hour clock, time zones, introduce you to airport codes, the different types of tickets you're going to issue, as well as airline alliances, and how they're going to help you qualify your client. Accuracy is very important. Once a plane ticket is issued, it's very difficult to change. Any changes due to a mistake can cost a client hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. So what we recommend is get the picture page of your client's passport so you're spelling the name correctly. If a misspelled name is appearing on a ticket, it will deny boarding, and your clients will not be happy about that. Also, providing accurate time. It's very common that clients will show up in an afternoon, but their flight was in the morning. The most common mistake is when someone has a midnight flight. And if it's midnight on a Wednesday and they show up Wednesday at 10 p.m., they've missed that flight because it's already left. So telling your clients when to show up at the airport is super important. If you are speaking on the phone with people, get used to the phonetic alphabet. It's going to be the easiest way for you to relay that letter to the supplier or even double check with the client on the phone. Some letters do sound the same, like B and P. So you want to use Bravo, Papa. Or it might be M and N. So Mike, November. So practice this using your name. Like mine, Mike Alpha Alpha Tango Tango Hotel Echo Whiskey, Matthew. Or you can use your postal code, Romeo 2 Mike 5 Alpha 9. That's head office's postal code. Practice using your street name. It's the easiest thing to do to get used to it in common speech. So when you are on the phone and you need to spell something, just go for it. Use the phonetic alphabet. Get used to the 24-hour clock. The majority of your suppliers, as well as all airlines, are going to be using this format when they relay times to you. So if you see 1600, it means 4 p.m. If you see 0600, it means 6 a.m. One thing to know is your clients may not know this format. So you might want to convert that to the standard AM, PM format when you're communicating with your clients. Just a little tip. If you have a client leaving around the midnight hour, like a Wednesday at 12:15 a.m., let them know they need to show up at the airport on a Tuesday. Lots of clients will show up the same day as their flight, not realizing they've already missed it. Just a little tip going forward. I just want to bring up time zones here for a moment. It's very important to really consider them when you're planning someone's vacation, because when your clients are traveling, they might be only in an aircraft for several hours. However, they may be losing or gaining days on that flight. For example, if you have someone leaving North America and they're traveling to Asia on a Tuesday, they're actually landing on Thursday, but they may have only been in the air for 10 hours. So when your clients say they want to be traveling for 7 days, make sure they want to be in destination for 7 days, or if they can only be away from their home for 7 days. Also, just a little tip. When you're speaking to suppliers, don't assume they know where you are. They might think that you're in Toronto or Vancouver or Montreal because they're the Canadian main cities. You might be speaking to someone in Australia or London or Delhi. So when you're talking to them and they say, oh, it's going to happen at 7 o'clock, just ask, is that Central Time, Eastern Standard Time? And they'll let you know. It's not going to happen often, but it's important to know this. Another thing about accuracy is to keep it simple. Airports around the world use a standardized IATA code system. These are 3 letters that identify the airports. Canadian airports are no different. In fact, there's something in common between all Canadian airports, and I want to see if you can figure this out. In British Columbia, we have Victoria, YYJ, Vancouver, YVR. In Alberta, we have Edmonton, YEG, Calgary's YYC, Saskatchewan, Saskatoon, YXE, Regina, YQR, Manitoba, Winnipeg, YWG, Churchill, YYQ, Ontario, Ottawa, YOW, Toronto, YYZ, Thunder Bay, YQT, Quebec, with Quebec, YQE, Montreal, YUL, New Brunswick, Moncton, YQM, Nova Scotia, YHZ, Prince Edward Island, Charlottetown, YYG, Newfoundland and Labrador, St. John's, YYT, Gander, YQX, Nunavut, Qaluit, YFB, Northwest Territories, Yellowknife, YZF, and Yukon with Whitehorse, YXY. Did you happen to notice the similarity between all the Canadian airports? But I also want to let you know that airports around the world, their codes, some of them make sense, and some of them seem not to have any relevance to that city whatsoever. So let's take a look at some common cities that people travel to. There's London's LHR, which is Heathrow, Paris's CDG, which Cancun, CUN, or even New Orleans, MSY. The codes do have relevance to the particular airport or the city that they're in. Speaking of cities, some cities like London, Paris, Seoul, Tokyo, even Toronto have multiple airports. So when your clients are searching for the best value ticket, they may not want to just fly into LaGuardia, but they might be open to all airports. So you can search NYC and you can search for LaGuardia, JFK, and Newark all at the same time. So that's like a little bit of a tip there for you to help price out the best price for your clients. We're just going to quickly review the types of tickets. This is very common knowledge. However, your clients may actually think one type of ticket is better for them over the other. And as a travel agent, it's important they ask these questions. A one-way ticket is pretty self-explanatory. Your clients are leaving one destination and they're arriving in the other. If you have a client that asks for a one-way ticket, ask them how they're coming home. Some might be buying a car and driving back. Others might be students and they're going for the term and they just don't know the return date yet. While others may actually think it's better for them to buy a one-way ticket to their destination and then buy the return ticket as a one-way home in that destination. It's important to let them know that that's better as a round trip. So really, start asking those questions and ask what they're doing in destination if you ever have these one-way ticket requests. A round trip ticket is when a client flies into that destination and returns from the same city. So they might be going to Toronto for 7 days, or they might be going over to Sydney for 14 days. When you get the round trip ticket inquiry, make sure that you do ask them, what are you planning to do there? Where are you staying? Because since flights have very low revenue, you want to build on that booking. So you might get that hotel or that excursion out of them as well. So it is true, some people do have family and they're just going for family visits and they have no intention of buying anything else other than the plane ticket. However, the majority of your clients are going to need a hotel and they're going to want to do some sort of excursion. So really try to build on your round trip tickets. Another type of ticket, and this is going to be common when you do cruises or your escorted tours, is open job. It's when a client flies into one city and they return through another one. For example, if you're doing a Panama cruise and they're going out of San Diego and they're going through the canal and they dock at Fort Lauderdale, you're going to sell them, say, a Saskatoon, San Diego, and then they're going to return from Fort Lauderdale back to Saskatoon. A multi-city ticket is a little bit more complicated, and you really want to take the time with these ones. So if you ever have someone saying, I want to fly into London and then to Paris and then into Istanbul and then fly home through Berlin, you want to tell your clients this is going to take you a couple days to figure out because you want the best price. Sometimes putting multi-cities on one ticket does benefit the client. So if you have a corporate client and they're traveling within Canada, you might want to look at just issuing everything on WestJet or everything on Air Canada. But if you have them going into different cities and different countries, you might want to look at a combination of open jaws, round trips, and even one-ways. Some common multi-city tickets that exist are round the world or circle routes. A circle route might be cities that go around the Atlantic or throughout the African continent. So when you do have these for the first couple times, please reach out to someone at head office. We'll be more than willing to help you out with the best price. Most international carriers have stopover programs. A stopover is when an airline doesn't charge the stopover fee to your client for extending a couple days in transit in their hub cities. So that could be Iceland Air through Reykjavik, Turkish Air through Istanbul, or Emirates through Dubai. So when you are doing these extended vacations like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you might want to bring up these programs to your clients. It may be a bucket list item, and it's also a great way to add revenue to your booking because if they do a stopover, they need a hotel, and because they're only there for a short amount of time, you're going to want to book them those day tours or those little short excursions that they can do to really maximize the time that they're there and they're not wasting a lot of it planning. Airline alliances are very important to your travelers. Some people are members of frequent flyers and others aren't. So if you have a client that isn't, sign them up for the airline's frequent flyer program. It's very important because airlines really enjoy the frequent flyer clients. Also, frequent flyers are very loyal to their airlines. They do things called mile runs. That's when they retain status by doing short little flights. And when they have status, they can enjoy perks like lounge access or free upgrades into business or first class tickets. The main alliances that you're going to notice are Star Alliance, SkyTeam, oneworld. Star Alliance is probably the biggest, and this is where Air Canada is a member of. So if you have an Aeroplan client, you can book any of these airlines, and your client will be able to earn Aeroplan points while flying on any of Air Canada's alliance partners. They also share things like seamless baggage transition and Also, when you do turn up at an airport, if you're on an Air Canada flight, you may see an Air New Zealand number, Avanca number, or even an Egypt Air number. So that's important to your clients. If they say they're Aeroplan, they may want 100% of the Aeroplan points, so make sure you're booking the right class of service. SkyTeam, if you have any clients traveling to the United States, you might want to consider Delta. KLM is a great service, and Air France is a great service to Europe, as well as Korean Air into Asia. One thing I want to note about SkyTeam is Delta and WestJet have a joint venture agreement. So if you have those WestJet clients and they're traveling to the US or they're going into Europe, One World is the other alliance. You're going to notice Qantas and British Air and Cathay Pacific. These are great for your WestJet clients as well because they partner through agreements with them as well. Now, WestJet is important to note. They're not members of either One World Alliance or SkyTeam, but they do work with this network as well. So that baggage can carry over. So if you have someone going to Hong Kong on Cathay, you might notice that they're going to be on a WestJet flight to Vancouver to get out of Canada. Thank you for listening to this presentation. I greatly appreciate it. Now you can move on to the next lesson.
Okay, babasahin ko lang po ito. Lesson 2. Several factors create an airline's price. And this lesson is designed to give you an overview of why looking at the value of a plane ticket is more important than issuing the cheapest ticket. You are also going to learn what a global distribution system, GDS, and its role in the airline booking process. You as an agent will not use the GDS. However, the consolidators we work with do, and many of our supplier partners will refer to it as well. We will also review rules and restrictions and how they play into the pricing of a plane ticket. Informing your client of the rules and restrictions is important. Not doing so could be a costly mistake to you and your client. Agent aims to provide straightforward information to the clients, and you will be shown what needs to be disclosed at the time of quoting and invoicing. Agents are told this many times in their travel career. People book with travel agents because of the value we hold. Value does not mean the cheapest, it means the best value for the money they are spending. So, topics covered in these lessons: why airline pricing changes so frequently, aircraft configuration, GDS and what it is, what rules to quote and why. So, what's the rules and restriction video? So, this is the lesson 2.
This is lesson 2 of the flights module. We're going to talk about why pricing is different, fare classes, what a GDS is, and the rules that you need to include on your quotes when you're talking to your clients. What's in a seat? There are many variables that actually affect the price of the seat. Anything from minimum stays to maximum stays, flying over a weekend, purchasing on a weekday, the time of seat, even the configuration of an airplane, all affect the different pricing. The idea of this lesson is not to make sure that you understand how, but why airlines come up with pricing. So you can actually have that conversation with the client when they come to you and say, how come this ticket was $300 yesterday and now you're telling me it's $500? Every airplane on all airlines from A380s, 747s to Dash 8s are going to have different pricing, even if they're on the same route. They're all configured in different ways. You can have a first class cabin, business cabin, premium economy, and 2 separate economy cabins on one aircraft, or you might only have a business class and an economy section. When an airline decides on the configuration, they take in many variables. It could be the route, so there may not even be a business class if it's a short little Victoria to Vancouver flight, Or they might have a longer haul flight, let's say Sydney to Houston, where they only want business and premium, so they're getting those higher ticket pricing. Whatever the decision the airline makes does affect the price of that ticket. We're going to go over this in a little bit more detail later on, but right now I want you to see that within each class there's multiple types of rules. That's what those letters stand for. So if you're in economy, premium economy, business class, or even first class A380 suites, each one of those classes can have multiple price points depending on the amount of restrictions that have on that ticket. The most common restriction on a ticket can be your baggage allowance or your seat selection fee. So depending on the rules, it's very important to check to see if these are included or not. Because one day you could be offering a client a $400 ticket that does not have baggage or seat selection included, but the next day that price may go up to $500, and these are included in that ticket. So it's important to note that your baggage or your seat selection is included in the fare when you're quoting your client. So when they do notice the difference, they can see that they're getting more value for their purchase. An important tool for you to know about is Seat Guru. I like to use this because sometimes my clients have questions about particular aircrafts that they might be flying on. So all I need to do is come here and search for the flight itself. As an example, I'm going to show you Emirates EK1. This is a flight from Dubai to London Heathrow. As you can see, it's on an A380. It has a configuration of a first, business, and economy class. It also gives me the amount of seats in each one of the categories, as well as the pitch and width in each class. This way, I can come here quickly and give that information to my clients if they ask for it. Another factor that comes into play when airlines are considering the cost of a ticket is the amount of room that your clients are going to get. Obviously, more room means less seats on an aircraft, and that's determined by either the seat width or pitch. Seat width is pretty obviously. But we're going to talk about the seat pitch. The pitch is from the back of the seat you're seated on to the back of the seat in front of you. The more of the pitch, the more room you have. Less pitch means more seats that the airline can actually sell on that aircraft, creating a less expensive ticket for your client. So, if your clients want to sit down and have their knees touch the seat in front of them, they're most likely going to pay less money for that ticket than if they were sitting in a seat like premium economy, where they can spread out a little bit more. As a Fare Connect agent, you're not going to be working directly in a GDS, but you will be working in them indirectly through your consolidator partners. So it's important to understand what they are. A GDS stands for Global Distribution System, and it's essentially a reservation system that communicates between the travel agent community as well as our airline partners when we're booking those seats. There's many different types of GDS systems, and this is just an example of Sabre. Earlier we were talking about class of service, first, business, premium economy, and economy. And within those services, there's different price points. Every airline will sell multiple tickets within a class of service for different pricing. However, they only allocate so many seats to that set of rules. One thing to really understand about these letters, and it's probably the only thing that you as a Fare Connect agent isn't going to really need to know, is airlines don't standardize them. So if you get used to what K means with WestJet, Air Canada might associate that with a different set of rules. So don't worry about memorizing what rule is associated to what letter. That's not important. The important thing in this is just knowing why the pricing changes so frequently with airlines. You can just see here. The one standardized thing between all airlines is Y class. It's essentially the breakpoint between business and economy class. And that's the only standard thing between these letters. You need to include the most basic and most restrictive rules on your quote and your invoice to your clients. Let them know if it's non-refundable or what the cancellation fee is, what the change fee is, plus the difference in fare. Always add that after you put the change fee price in. Let them know how much baggage is if they have to pay for it at the airport, as well as seat selection. Let them know the cost of the seat selection if it's not included in the ticket. With baggage and seat selection, airlines make a lot of money off these added fees. However, the tickets could be a lot less expensive if clients pay for these at the airport. But you do have clients, they might be nervous travelers or they just don't want the hassle at the airport, that want to pay a higher ticket price to have these two services included in their tickets. So it's really important to let them know. If they are paying for it at the airport or at time of check-in, let your clients know how much money you are saving them by doing it this way. They came to you for a value, and knowing that they have value in their ticket by you saving them, say, $400 just because they have to pay $50 at the airport, that's important. However, if your clients turn up at the airport and they suddenly find that they have to pay for baggage and you say, well, I saved you $100, they're not going to believe you. So at the time of quoting at conversations, include that information. Let them know, this is what I'm doing for you. Also, provide the airline's link. Let clients know they should be going to the airline's webpage to do this extra research. They might find tips like downloading the app for the airline to help with check-in, or even holding their boarding passes. So include that information on your quote so the clients can go to the airline's webpage for all that extra information that the airlines have. If you are booking through a consolidator or any third party, let them know what their cancellation, change fees, and void fees are as well. Because if a client needs to cancel or do a change or do a void on a ticket, those third parties are also going to want to make money off that transaction as well. I also highly encourage that you also charge a cancellation, change, or void fee. Don't do work for free. If you have a canceled ticket, your commission will be recalled, meaning you put hours worth of work into a file that you are now getting nothing back. Changes will take a lot of your time. So add a $50 or $100 change fee charged to your quotes. If your clients want to change it from a Monday to a Thursday, charge them for it. Don't work for free. We're not in this to volunteer. We're in this to make money. Anybody in the travel industry will tell you that booking air tickets is confusing. Even people who do it all day, every day. So if you need any questions answered or need any clarification, especially about rules, the best source is directly to the airline or the consolidator you're booking through. They'll help you out. If you need any assistance whatsoever, anybody at head office will be more than happy to help you out as well. We may tell you to call the consolidator or the airline, and if you don't know who you should contact first, give us a call, send us an email, we'll help you out. If your clients are at the airport and they're stuck, please call head office right away. We will assist you. Thank you very much for listening. This is a basic overview of flights, and if you have any questions or need any further lessons, please book a one-on-one with your trainer. They'll be more than happy to assist.
So I will read about consolidators. Consolidators are a wonderful asset and partner to the travel advisor's portfolio. It is important that you understand how they work to make them benefit you and your client. You will be told who our preferred consolidators are and which ones you need to avoid. So topics covered in this lesson: what a consolidator is, how to make money, preferred consolidators, and what to do when booking with them, minimum and maximum markups on a consolidator booking, flights by Inter, sourcing and booking flights through SciReb. So what's the video consolidator? This presentation will provide you with an understanding on how consolidators work and when you should be using them. What's the video? Flights by Inter. Note, once you have watched the entire video, you will need to set up your Travel Brands account. Follow the thumbnail below to download the instructions. Log into SciRev. Your credentials will be located on the Fair Connect resource site and follow the training tab to watch the flights video. Note, SciRev, like travel brands, is a one-stop shop for your bookings. Unlike travel brands, it is not a supplier. It is a booking engine that hosts multiple suppliers. Since SciRev is such a large entity, you are only required to watch the flights tutorial at this point. So this is the video, okay?
In this section of the flights lesson, we're going to talk about consolidators. We're going to go over what is a consolidator, who our preferred is, how to make money, the next steps in this particular training. Consolidators are like wholesalers. What they're doing is they're approaching various airlines around the world and they're going to be negotiating pricing. What they do is they're going to take that reduced price amount of money and you're seeing a profit at the end of the day. You don't make a lot of money when you sell flights, and there's a lot of work put in behind the scenes. So it's really important that you value yourself, but willing to give that service to your clients. The three consolidators you're going to want to use the most in this order are Inter. Inter is our number one preferred consolidator. They give us really great service, as well as we have an exec line with them, meaning if two agencies are on the phone at the same time and you're calling in, you jump the queue. You're going to get answered first. Agencia, they have a really nice platform and they have a way to do a single charge. And you're going to see the importance in that in a few more slides. Huntington is also a good supplier for us as well. We have a great relationship with them. So if you do use something other than Inter or Agencia, Huntington's another option. To book Inter, you're going to use the Travel Brand site. In Agencia, you're going to want to go to the Agencia site. Please note, when you're booking the consolidators Huntington, you're going to go to SciRev, and if you have to use Fairlink or Airliners, which at Fair Connect we do not recommend that you do, please make them your last resort. For those three, Huntington, Fairlink, and Airliners, you're going to need to use ticketing at fairconnect.com. In addition, if you are booking Fairlink as well as Airliners, please put in the notes that they were your last resort and you had no other option. At Fair Connect, we don't recommend them and we encourage you not to use them. How to make money when you're booking a consolidator. So when you are marking up, we at Fair Connect have minimum markups. So when you add to this fare, you're adding it to the base, and then you're going to show the taxes and a total. Sort of like when you see the cost of the item you purchase, your GST and PST, and then the total. It's the same thing. You don't see the amount that that store is paid for wholesale, plus what they're adding to it, and then the taxes, and then the total. What you're doing is you're adding your profit into the actual cost of the item, and then you're showing the taxes separate. In addition to Fair Connect minimums, airlines have minimums and maximum markups too. So it's very important to note these minimums and maximums that the airlines are willing to show you. Some airlines don't want to be known as a discount carrier, so they're setting a bar where if you have the ability to sell lower, they're going to make you increase it to a certain amount. So if you're not respecting that minimum, your client's credit card is going to be charged that minimum amount. In addition, airlines have maximum amounts. So they're saying that they're not willing to take on extra credit card charges if you go over a certain amount. So if you notice minimum and maximum amounts, make note of those. Sometimes Fair Connect's minimum markups do go over the maximums. And if they do, I always say try to round it to the nearest $10 because it's easier to pass off as a ticketing fee that way. Fair Connect's minimum markup when booking a domestic ticket with a consolidator is $25. Please note, if you're booking a Canadian domestic with Air Canada or WestJet, you should be using Air Canada and WestJet's travel agent portals. Fair Connect's minimum markup for a transborder flight booked through a consolidator is $35. Please note, if you're booking WestJet or Air Canada to the United States, Book those directly through Air Canada or WestJet's travel agent portal. FareConnect's minimum markup for international flights booked through a consolidator is $50. If you're booking Air Canada International, you might want to weigh your option between a consolidator or booking directly through Air Canada's site. Each have their benefits. If you're booking WestJet International, all WestJet International should be booked through the WestJet travel agent portal. You're probably wondering why you're looking at an apple right now. Essentially, I want you to consider your markups when you're selling plane tickets the same way a grocery store will consider their markup when they're selling you an apple. These apples come from the same orchard, and no matter if you're at Walmart or Superstore or Safeway, you're probably going to see 3 different pricing because they're going to give you 3 different levels of service. So depending on the level of service that you're providing your client will determine your markup. So when I say I encourage you to charge more than the FareConnect minimums, I do, because I know you're going to be providing more service to your client. You're giving them that value. So the easier the ticket, the lower the markup. The more work you're putting into it, the higher the value. So therefore, the more of the markup. So really consider your worth when you're looking at pricing out your tickets. Just as a reminder, if you're booking directly with the airline, so either through their direct access, like Air Canada's or WestJet's travel agent pages, or if you're going through Sarev and you see that you're booking through their web, you don't have to add those minimum markups to those bookings. But I want to let you know, if you want to add a service fee to these bookings, you can contact accounting@fairconnect.com and someone will send you the information on how you can charge your client's credit card through the FairConnect merchant number so you can make that added revenue on the file. Some important steps that you need to be aware of. Can't stress this enough. You'll probably hear me mention them a few more times in the next couple lessons as well. Get a copy of the picture page of your client's passport. All travelers will have identification that they require to board an aircraft. So if they're domestic, make sure you're getting the information on that government issue photo ID. If it's international, have them send you the picture page of that passport. If you make a mistake on the spelling, your clients can be denied boarding at the airport. Airlines are required to have the client's details because if there's a change or a cancellation, they have the responsibility to contact the clients to let them know. So whatever you do, when it asks for the client's phone number, put the client's phone number in there because the airline will call them in the event of a change or a last minute cancellation. When you are in any system and you see check, do not issue anything through check. That is for brick and mortar stores who are set up with their own point of sale devices in their offices. As independent consultants, we are not authorized to take cash or checks from clients. You are only authorized to take a credit card payment from your clients and you send payment directly through the supplier system. Speaking of credit cards, banks let clients know that Visa debits work on the Visa credit card system. However, it's a different product. So if your clients are using Visa, ask if it's Visa debit or if it's the Visa credit card, because some suppliers do not take Visa debit. And if your clients are expecting to use that and it's late in the evening, they may not be able to confirm their booking because that airline or that consolidator may not take Visa debit. It has happened in the past, and it's just something to be very aware of. Also, if your clients are using American Express, double check if the supplier takes American Express. Some suppliers don't because American Express charges high fees. Triple check everything. Before you hit confirm, make sure that your names are correct, make sure your itinerary is correct, even the cities that your clients are transiting through, because you may accidentally pull the wrong flight when you're doing that booking. It's a lot easier to start over before you put payment through than if you confirm payment and try to change it afterwards. No matter what, on all your bookings, including air, you need to quote insurance. We always recommend putting a premium protection policy quote on all your quotes. This is just an option for your clients to protect their financial investment. Because your clients worked hard for this trip, make sure you're quoting insurance on all your quotes. And I'm going to mention that to you a lot, even when we talk about hotels or escorted tours. But things happen with air travel. They might get delayed. A flight might be late. They may miss their connection in transit. Insurance is going to help them because it's going to cover the cost of a last minute hotel, or they might have to come home early, and insurance is going to help protect them for that as well. As I mentioned before, we at head office are always here for your support. So if you have any questions or you want to do a little bit more training, contact us and we'll set something up for you. Thank you so much for listening to this presentation. I certainly appreciate the time that you took. You're not quite done with consolidators yet. We do need you to move over to the Inter presentation. Jeff, our BDM with Travel Brands, did an excellent job preparing this for you. So please take the time to listen to it and watch his demonstration. He's going to go through the Inter process step by step for you, and it's going to help you with your practice quotes and quoting going forward. After you finish the Inter presentation, you're going to want to set up your Travel Brands account. You'll find the information on the Fair Connect resource site, so please do that. Once you set up your Travel Brands account, you're going to want to move over to the Flights by Saurav video. And Saurav has prepared this video, which gives you a step-by-step process in terms of searching and quoting flights for your clients. They even have an excellent way of sending e-brochures to your clients. So it might be something easy for the quoting to your clients going forward. As a reminder, we always recommend booking Inter through Travel Brands directly.
Ay, tapos na to. So, let's go to the next. Oh, ito meron.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, and thank you for tuning in today to learn more about Inter's booking engine and services. Whether you are a new agent or a veteran in the industry, we promise this will be an informative session with helpful tips, new updates, and show you just how user-friendly the booking tool is for you, our valued clients. Inter has made many changes over the years based on agent feedback, and we continue to introduce new enhancements in efforts to help you work smarter and not harder. Originally, when Inter opened its doors for business decades ago, we only offered starting from a Canadian gateway. Today, we have reverse fares, one-ways, round trips, open jaw itineraries, giving you more choice and options than ever before. We have great partnerships with over 80 scheduled airlines worldwide and offer multiple classes of service. Not to mention, we have access to U.S. border departures, and there are no deviation fees with Inter. And one of the best features is you determine your markup. As I mentioned, our site is super agent friendly with lots of detailed information at your fingertips every step of the way. You have your carrier and flight information, different types of fares that you can book. Of course, you have the option to quote in Canadian or US pricing. Branded fares are the newest on our site. You have the ability to use the minus and plus 3 functionality. And if you have cruise clients, we really have great fares, air sea fares, plus so much more. We will review how to identify the different types of contracts available in today's presentation. However, before we do so, I wanted to take a moment to make sure that you understand and you're comfortable with the different contracts that we have available. Now, kindly note, it's not necessary to take lots of detailed notes of the type of contracts or how to identify them, and the reason being, on the Travel Brands Access site, we have several helpful agent cheat sheets for you to refer to at a later time, and they are located under the Help Center. So there are 4 types of contracts that you can find in the Inter booking engine: net fares, published fares, commissionable fares, and cruise fares. So let's take a moment to have a closer look. When it comes to all 4 of these fares, of course, they can be booked in our system. If you're looking for changes, cancellation charges, all of that information can be viewed under the rules for each fare that you're looking at. Now, net fares. These have great benefits to you as clients don't have access to these fares and you can mark them up. So there is a maximum amount that is displayed through the booking process. So if you put a service fee and you keep it under the maximum amount, it will show as one charge on your client's credit card. You certainly are entitled to charge over that maximum amount. Just note that it will show as 2 separate charges on your client's credit card. Published fares are fares that are published right on the ticket. Commissionable fares include the markup already in the fare, and cruise fares have all types of benefits to them, and I will discuss those in more detail. So branded fares are the newest fares that are available on our site, and we do have this helpful branded fare guide, again, available under the Help Center. But I wanted to talk about these a bit more. So branded fares are color-coded in blue on our site. All other fares have traditionally been color-coded in green. So when you are doing various searches, you will see a combination of both blue and green color-coded fares. Branding fares means offering a new range of fares with the same or within the same in each cabin type. Passengers are able to choose from different types of fares adapted to the way they travel, and each of them with specific conditions, rules, and services. Some of these may be checked bags not included, or a number of checked bags with or without an additional fee. The ability to change that ticket or obtain a refund with or without an additional fee. Clients would also have access to priority boarding, lounge access, and much more. So everyone should have a login to the Access platform. You sign in with your personal. This is your one-stop shop. We sell every type of product that you can think of for all continents around the world. Clicking on the Flights tab on the home page takes you to the air booking engine. We give you the option to book flights in Canadian and US funds, and this is great if you are an agent with an American clientele or perhaps your agency is situated close to the border. You can find all current air promotions by clicking on the Promotions tab. To ensure that you have these important updates from airlines, as well as policies, we have the News and Alerts pop-up message board, which is located on the landing page of the air booking tool. The initial landing page on the air site has several helpful filters to help you narrow down your searches, of course, based on your client's needs and requests. And at the top, there are several tabs to choose from. Please note that the system defaults to round trip, however, the choice is completely yours. If your clients are flexible with dates, you can take advantage of the -+3-day functionality. And this is one of the many functionalities that we have introduced based on agent feedback. When using the -+3-day function, it highlights in green the lowest available price versus the date requested. Multi-city features allows you the ability to book stopovers in the system. So you can book up to 6 segments at a time, perfect for those complicated itineraries or clients that want to travel to multiple destinations. And this, of course, gives you more control over the files without you having to contact the call center for multi-segments. Another feature I want to show you is the Flight Pricer. You can access the Flight Pricer from this tab shown here on your monitors. And this is a great tool if your clients are looking for a specific flight, or you have previously quoted some flights and you want to see if the availability is still there. calculate one-way, round trip, open jaws with or without a stopover, all you need to do is enter in the information for these columns shown on your screen. You'd click on search. The flight is available. It would actually show at the bottom of the screen for you to proceed with the booking from there. So before searching for possible flight options for your valued clients, take advantage of these helpful filters. This will reduce your search for economy class, premium economy, and business class. The connection filter will populate searches based on direct flights, 1 max, 2 max, and 3 maximum connections. You can also click on carrier filter and you can specify an airline, perhaps WestJet or Air Canada, all carriers, Star Alliance, One World, or SkyTeam to help reduce that search. Now, one of the newest filters we have is at least one free bag. So this is a new enhancement, and I'm happy to let you know that this is available for Inter Canadian and Inter US pricing. That new checkbox works with round trip, one-way, open jaw, and multi-city tabs. It also works with the -+3-day search button. So when you're clicking on this at least one free bag checkbox, when you're selecting it, Star Trek only returns fares allowing at least one free bag. We did have an old column with a minimum and maximum, and we've replaced that with a bags column. So this indicates the most restrictive baggage allowance. Sometimes you will find that you may have one bag on the outbound and 2 bags on the inbound. So I briefly mentioned earlier those air-sea fares are sometimes called cruise fares. So let me further elaborate. First, here on the top, you see that you would enter in all of the appropriate criteria of what your clients are searching, the destination, dates, etc. However, really important, you want to click on this cruise checkbox here. By doing so, it's telling the system to look for air-sea fares. Now, how do you identify them? That's easy. It will show right here, air must be booked in conjunction with the cruise. Cruise booking number is required, and through the booking flow, it will ask you for a cruise booking number. So these air-sea fares have fewer restrictions, but not limited to lower cancellations before departure, lower change fees, and more. Now, one thing that I wanted to point out, of course, we would love that cruise to be booked with Encore. However, for you cruise bookers out there, if you have clients that have and you booked them cruise elsewhere, or perhaps your clients have booked the cruise directly with the cruise line, they can definitely still take advantage of these. Again, all you need to do is make sure that you enter the cruise booking number for these fares to be valid. So now that we've reviewed different contracts and filters, allow me to show you other important functions and hyperlinks that are available through that air search. So in today's example, we're going to be looking for 2 adults. They're seeking round-trip flights from Toronto to Cancun, November 7th, 15th, and of course we click on search. So what's important here is to know how to identify the various fares. So we're going to go from top to bottom, and as you can see, 2 important columns that you want to be paying attention to are the published adult column versus the net adult column. Starting from the bottom with the net fare, as you can see under the published adult column, it will always say 0, where the net adult column will have a higher dollar amount. Published fares are easily identified because the dollar amount will always be the same for both columns, and a commissionable fare will have a higher dollar amount displayed in the published adult column versus the net adult column. So at the top, you can see a summary based on your search results, and it's always good to review this section to ensure that you had inputted the correct criteria. In the second box, you will see the lead-in fare for both direct and non-direct flights, along with various airlines that are available. Now, if you're unsure of an airline code and what that represents, no worries. In a live environment, you would hover your mouse over the airline code and it would pop up to tell you what that airline is. Another thing that's great with this is our display is a horizontal display. Others have vertical displays on their fares, which require a lot more scrolling and page turning. And with our horizontal display, it's easier to compare fares and ultimately saves you more time. Also wanted to point out some special fares. So as you can see here at the bottom, the special fares must be sold with a land component. So as long as your clients have a land product booked, you can take advantage of these. Sorry, the availability results tab. So all these fares are highlighted in either blue or green, and this is because these fares are available and the pricing has been confirmed. All available fares will be displayed from the lowest to the highest, including taxes, and this is great because many others will sort their results from the lowest to the highest without including the taxes. A few other things I wanted to point out. The fare column will display the airline. The grand total column will display the total of all passengers, including taxes, and the outbound and inbound columns will indicate the number of connections on the outbound and inbound flights. Now, if you want to view the fares, penalties and rules, all you need to do is click on these helpful hyperlinks below these columns, and it will open up or populate all of the rules and penalties regarding any fare that you're looking at on our booking engine. So another great feature that I really like is the itinerary filter. You click on the itinerary filter and you get this pop-up as shown here on your screen. And this screen allows you to customize the flights offered by selecting options such as direct flights, flights departing before or after a specified time, a preferred carrier. Give you an example over here. Maybe your clients prefer to fly on whatever airline. The ones that they don't like, simply click off on it and it would reduce the amount of searches that are populated in the system. Or perhaps you have clients that are doing a connecting flight and they don't want to connect through a particular US gateway. You can click on those as well. And again, it would reduce the search based on what you're looking for. So when you are ready to book, you need to expand the selected flight, and you simply do so by clicking book to continue. So in this example, you can see the selected fare. There are direct flights, as you can see right here. And we are booking a return flight, so you will need to select one outbound and one inbound based on the flight you're interested in. And please note you're also able to see the number of seats that are available, and that's why it's so important to enter the accurate number of passengers traveling in that initial search screen, because you want to ensure that the flight search will in fact have the number of seats that you require. To get more information on a particular flight, all you need to do is click and expand on this details button here. You click on that plus sign and it will open up to give you all of this detailed information. So as you can see, you'll have the ability to see the terminal, the aircraft, the number of seats on that aircraft, the flight times, the total trip, if the airline is part of an alliance, who operates the flight, and the type of aircraft. You'll also notice here there is a hyperlink in regards to baggage, and this will direct you into the airline's website so you are confident that you have correct details in regards to allowances. So as you continue along, you will see the details of the flight at the top, including the trip duration. You will also see the itinerary and have the option once again to see all flight details. And then when you scroll down, you would enter in the travel agent information here. And again, in a live environment, you continue to scroll down, and this is where you enter the passenger's information. Again, I want to point out with the passenger's information, we are looking for their correct name as it appears on their valid passport. Where you see price and conditions, this recalls how long a flight can be on hold. So that information there. I mentioned earlier through the booking process, it would show you the maximum amount for a particular fare, and that would always be highlighted in the bottom left of this section. So the live system, when it comes to the passenger names, you will get a pop-up. It's really just reminding you that the clients are subject to a service fee of $50 per passenger, that's plus taxes for any name correction. So through that booking process, as you can see at the top, it will provide you with your record locator or PNR. And as you're continuing to go through the booking process, you have the TSA is requiring the airlines to transmit the secure flight passenger data, which is 72 hours prior to departure or immediately if reservations are made 72 hours of the departure date. IATA resolution regulations, and with the ticketing and reservation procedures of the airline, we must provide the airlines with a valid email or mobile number for at least one passenger, and airlines use this information to communicate irregular flight operations or disruptions. When it comes to email over here, you want to ensure that you're entering your email to receive the invoice and e-documents for your clients. With payment as well, if your clients are paying by credit card and they want to have multiple credit cards on file, that is an option. And the arrow to your top left, the amount of the fare and the markup total, you would want to enter it in that box there. So again, going through the process here, there's more information than we've had in the past. So if you have special requests for your clients, wheelchair, or maybe they're looking for a vegetarian meal, frequent flyer numbers, that information you now can input it yourself instead of calling into the call center. And again, you have the ability to cancel a file if need be. And at the top, you see the layout and seat selection. So I've showed you how to go through the booking process and explained all these different filters and fares. Now retrieving a file, the best place to retrieve all air files is by clicking My File. If you're going to enter the travel brand agent name to pull up, then if you enter your travel brand agent name, it will pull up all of your air bookings, or you can simply enter a record locator to retrieve a particular air file. So two things that I wanted to point out in regards to branded fares. You want to make it a habit when you see these blue branded to be clicking on this button right here, add to my save quotes to choose and book another branded fare. Why is this so important? Is it will open up and populate to show you all branded fares that are available for the dates and destinations that you've entered. And of course, if you click on the plus sign beside each, it will open up to give you even more information about that particular fare. So I've walked you through our booking platform, but I want to tell you what's new at Travel Brands as it pertains to air. So the new block space will display at the top of the page just under the search summary. To book block seats, simply expand the plus sign and click on the book button. Any rules will be noted under the flight details. As well, they can be viewed by clicking on that hyperlink under the rules above. Payment is collected at time of booking but charged when tickets are issued. Therefore, when booking the block space, you will not receive the e-tickets right away like you do with regular non-block space tickets. Once the names are entered, you will be prompted for the payment information. Now, if you book an air group with the groups department, you can also have your coordinator at line. This means you no longer need to email the names and payment details back and forth or over the phone. It is booked the same way as the block space that we just looked at, but only your agency would have access to book into it. Once the booking has been made on the group, you can access the information by clicking the My Blocks button in the My File section of the Air tool. Any block space you have booked will be displayed, as you can see the hyperlinks there with the example of block 37 or block 36. Here you can view the booking in the group. Clicking on these little arrows over here will open up and give you the option to book or to look at a group manifest. And you can view details such as the name, titles, and date of birth. So I'm happy to let you know that we have a brand new My Bookings app dedicated to you agents. So you can download this from the Apple Store or Google Play for Android users. And this gives you the ability to manage your files on the go with access to your My Bookings section of the Travel Brands Access page. Notifications of upcoming payments, apply payments to file, access your files, look up commission levels, and more. So one thing that I wanted to point out, when you're on the home page of the Access site, on the top right corner, there is the button Resources, with lots of detailed information at your fingertips. I know I mentioned the Help Center earlier. By clicking on the Help Center, this is where you will find a variety of cheat sheets. When it comes to e-brochures, it will display all e-brochures that are currently available. We help you on the marketing side as well with e-flyers. So there's a wide variety of different flyers that you can pick and choose from. And the great thing about these is you can add your agency contact information, your call to action with your own agency logo on it. Of course, webinars, they're available, live webinars as well as recorded webinars. And in regards to loyalty points, the concept is the more you book, the more you earn. We are very proud of the fact that we are regularly voted the best agent loyalty program out there by agents. And remember, when it comes to the loyalty points, there's a wide variety of things that you can redeem for. You can redeem on travel, merchandise, gift cards, and the list goes on. And last but not least, I want to ensure that you're aware of the Travel Brands agent page. Look for us. We're called Your Travel Brands BDM. If you're on our page already, thank you very much. We just ask that you pass the information on to another agent in your office. And again, if you're brand new to the industry or have been in the industry for a number of years, still a lot of great information here. So for someone that's new, it's kind of a fast forward to be more aware of the different products and services that we offer. Again, it provides lots of updates. We have received a lot of fabulous feedback from the agent community stating we have the best Facebook page out there in the industry. And I believe the number one reason behind that is we're constantly responding to any type of questions that may be asked about the different services that we have. Plus, some people have different promotions that are exclusive to you agents on our Facebook page. So last but not least, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy day, and of course, thank you so much for the continued support. Thanks, and have yourself a great evening.
Download ko to. Save ko muna to. Okay, wait ko to. Go to. Next lesson. Okay, we're now in lesson 4, national carriers. So our national carriers will be the bulk of your flight bookings, and the majority, if not all of them, should be booked through their travel agent websites. You must remember these bookings must be completed logged in as a travel agent. Most air bookings done over the phone are completed with no commission attached to the file. Why should you book directly on the airline's travel agent support page and not through a consolidator? The answer is you have greater control over the ticket because the airline owns it. This allows for certain tasks to be completed easily and with a smaller fee. When you book a flight through a consolidator, the airline has agreed with them to perform and manage the entire booking up to departure. This means the airline loses control of the ticket, and tasks may not be able to be completed without hefty services fees. Even though you are more likely to pay a commission when you book directly with our national carriers. There are situations where the commission is extremely low, and in some cases it is set to 0%. Therefore, it is advised that you charge a service fee on all your direct bookings and to maintain a healthy revenue. So let's go now to next lesson. Air Canada Airlines. Air Canada is the flag carrier and the largest airline in Canada by fleet size and the passengers carried. Our national carrier was founded in 1937 and provides both scheduled and charter service for passengers and cargo to over 200 destinations around the world. Air Canada is a founding member of the Star Alliance Group. This allows your clients to travel to destinations beyond Air Canada's traditional routes, still maintaining the loyalty status with Aeroplan. Air Canada maintains 4 hubs to efficiently service our nation both nationally and internationally. These hubs are in Toronto Pearson, YYZ, Montreal Trudeau, YUL, Vancouver, YVR, and Calgary, YYC. Air Canada allows travelers to have an onboard experience that can be tailored to the needs of the trip, whether it means concierge services, utilizing the convenient airport, lounges, or just need a ride home for the holidays. Air Canada's passengers can travel in the following cabins: signature, business class, premium economy, economy. Air Canada is provided Air Canada is divided into the following subsidiaries: Air Canada Cargo, Air Canada Jets, Air Canada Express, and Rouge. Air Canada Aeroplan is Air Canada's loyalty program. Instructions. Explore Air Canada's on-board page. It all starts with boarding the plane and ends with a purchase. This web page is dedicated to your client's experience while they are traveling on Air Canada. Watch the video Air Canada Travel Agent Portal. This is where you will be provided with a walkthrough of the Air Canada Travel Agent Portal. This site is a powerful system. Not only can you book in this system, but it holds your reference material and offers further education within it. Optional but highly recommended. As shown in the video, create your Air Canada Global University account and take the available courses. Log in into Air Canada Travel Agent Portal. Click on Agent Reference. Review the topics. Do not read everything. Just get a glance of the type of information available to you without needing to call into the call center. So this is the lesson for Air Canada Travel Agent Portal.
Fair Connect Flights, Air Canada's travel agent portal. Before we begin, if you are booking domestic and trans-border flights with Air Canada, you are going to be using Air Canada's travel agent portal only. For Air Canada international flights, you can choose to use a consolidator if it's a flight only, but if you have another component on the file, you should still be using Air Canada's travel agent portal. There is a greater benefit to the client by using this system. This is the login screen for Air Canada Travel Agent Portal. The IATA number, you're going to notice something that's missing. It's the last digit. So the IATA number is always going to be the Fair Connect IATA minus the number 1 at the end. You have a unique agency code, booking agent number, as well as a password, and you can find those in the Fair Connect Resource Center. After you log into Air Canada, please make sure that you're checking for your login information in the top right corner. The reason I want you to do this is because the agent portal and the consumer site are identical. And if you accidentally book in the consumer site, you're not going to make commission and you're going to lose your revenue on that booking. When you log in for the first time, I want you to go to the agent reference section. In this section of the portal, there's some valuable information. There's also the Air Canada Global Sales University. So right away, once you're done this module, you're going to come here. You're going to click on Start Exploring and Have Fun. And then once you get to the Air Canada Global University, you're going to click on Login, New User, and set up your profile. Once you have your profile set up, you're going to want to click on All Corporate, and you're going to begin Air Canada Rouge, Fleet and Classes of Service, Fare Products, Star Alliance, Air Canada Vacations, and Joint Ventures. I do encourage that you complete all the lessons, but the above is the minimum required. It's just going to help you understand the Air Canada product as a whole. We also recommend that you take a look at agency guides and references. In this section is basically the guides to navigating the Air Canada site and Air Canada as a whole, including Travel Agent Guide. So please download this to your computer. It's like a handy phone book to have, so when you need to contact Air Canada, you're contacting the right department. So if you have pets in cabin or customer relations, or you need to do a cancellation or a refund, this is going to tell you who to contact and where to do it, either phone number or through email. Another document to download would be the Agent Reference Guide. This is a how-to on navigating the site itself. So it's handy to have just to help you navigate from screen to screen and what all the icons and links do for you. Another thing I would like you to do is watch the Branded Fares webinar on the transatlantic. This is going to explain the basic economy and the benefits and the limitations of this class of service to your clients. The nice thing about Air Canada is it remembers your recent searches. So you can see here that I have done Winnipeg to Calgary, Winnipeg to Reykjavik and Winnipeg to Toronto searches in the past. You can search by round trip, one way, or multi-city. The types of passengers are adults 16 and over, youth 12 to 15, child 2 to 11, even do infant on lap or infant occupying a seat. All you need to do is enter your destination, your origin, and your dates of travel. And you're going to get this screen. This is a sliding calendar to help you select the date they want to travel on. If your clients have a promotional code or there's a promo that you know about that's going on, please enter the code here. This is going to allow the system to automatically account for that discount. Once you've entered all the information as necessary, click Find, and you're going to get your search results. When I do my search results, I always like to click on either the economy class or the business class tab. What's going to happen, you're going to have a brochure appear on your screen. This is going to give you some basic information about the configurations of the aircraft. So if you're selling economy or premium economy or business or economy rouge or premium rouge, what's going to happen is you can have better information at your fingerprints to be able to tell your clients what they can expect on board the aircraft. But when you do select economy or business, you can see a basic price there for you. And no matter if it's going to be standard or flex or comfort or latitude, you can see that Air Canada is giving you a visual of the basic rules that you can identify really quickly to be able to select the type of flight that your client wants. So if cost is a factor, you can select standard. But if they want 100% of the Aeroplan points and they need that free check bag, they might want to go flex. Or if they want preferred seating, you want to put them in comfort. So really depending on what your client wants for that trip, that's the class of service you want. I always tell people, check out the business class. Because if you're selling a comfort or a latitude seat, sometimes your clients may want to go into lowest business just for the extra bag, access to the Maple Leaf Lounge, and the added benefits of Aeroplan with this service. And sometimes it is less money than some economy seats. On the return, the same features appear for the flight. So depending on the class of service, I still say check out that business. One thing you can do with all the class of service, except for basic economy, is you can actually mix the class. So if it's beneficial for your clients to fly business on the way to their destination, but let's say it's a lot less expensive to come economy home, you can still mix those classes up. So this person may want to do flex because they have a check bag going, so put them in flex on the way home and they're still saving a considerable amount of money. That's the benefit of doing it this way. You can see here that they're doing a business class lowest on the way to Calgary and economy flex on the way home. Air Canada still gives you one last chance to upgrade, and it tells you the price difference. So if it's a lower amount, you might even be able to get that business class upgrade from your client. If they do decide to do that, you can always click on change flight and you can go and change the class of service to what's going to be benefiting your client the most. If they want the way it is and they're accepting your quote, all you need to do is click on continue. On this page, you're going to fill in the customer's data. So if they're flying internationally, it's their name as it appears exactly on their passport. If they're flying domestically, it's their name exactly as it appears on the government issue photo ID they're going to be traveling with. You're also going to want to get their date of birth and their gender. If your clients do require special assistance, make sure you click on this box here. And it's going to open up this form. So if they want wheelchair assist, they're traveling with their own wheelchair or scooter, they're deaf or hearing impaired or blind or visually impaired, you're going to check off one of those boxes, if not multiple. This is what it looks like when you check them off and it's expanded. So with wheelchair assist, you can see I require assistance within the airport, up and down steps, or they may even need to be assisted on and off of the aircraft. If they have their own wheelchair, it's important to ask if it's battery powered, because depending on the battery, they may need to have it disconnected or stored in a proper case. Deaf or blind, hearing impaired, or vision impaired, no matter the assistance that required, I always recommend contacting Air Canada after you do the booking, just to make sure that it's showing on the reservation. This also allows for the flight crew to know that this individual is on board, so they can do any special emergency announcements, and it allows them to know where they are seated on the aircraft in case of an emergency. Once you continue through, you can select their seats. And keep in mind, depending on the class of service, the client may have to pay extra for it. But if you don't do it at that point, you can always do it later as well. If everything is satisfactory, continue. And then you can make payment. You can either do it through an Air Canada gift card or e-coupon, and a separate window will appear for the 15-digit number. You also can use credit cards. They are forms of credit cards. You just need the credit card number and the name on the card. And make sure you enter the agency email address as well. Once you have everything inputted, you can accept the terms and conditions and continue to purchase. Please note, for your examples, you don't need to purchase the flights. Thank you. Before you proceed to the next module, don't forget to complete the Air Canada Global University modules I mentioned, and thank you for listening.
Lesson 6, WestJet Airlines. WestJet began as a low-cost alternative in the Canadian aviation market in 1996, flying to 5 destinations with 3 aircraft. WestJet has since grown into an airline that serves over 100 international destinations using over 150 aircraft. WestJet over the years has partnered with various airlines to allow them to increase their reach within Canada and to allow WestJet great reach into international aviation markets. This allows guests to continue to earn points on their preferred loyalty program. WestJet maintains hubs in Toronto, Vancouver, and their home city, Calgary. Calgary's airport is also the location of WestJet's Elevation Lounge. WestJet guests, when flying, can experience service that is relevant to their need by enjoying the following cabins: business, premium, economy. WestJet's Dollars is the WestJet loyalty program. Instructions. Watch the video entitled WestJet Resource Site. This video will show you how to set up your WestJet Resource Site account. Take note on how to navigate the site. Once you set up your account, take a moment to explore the site yourself. Watch the video entitled WestJet Travel Agent Portal. Watch how to check the various fare rules and make a special note regarding basic economy fares. Module 5, Lesson 4. Dito tayo sa course. Okay?
I quickly want to show you how to set up your WestJet resource site. First, please go to www.westjettravelagency.com. You're going to want to click on Create Now. In the agency information page, there's a field, IATA. You're going to want to put in 965-16641. Agency name, put in Fare Connect. Then you're going to click Next. In this one, this is your personal information. It's pretty self-explanatory. First name, last name, your fareconnect.com email. Do not use your alias email if you have one. Also, you can put in your address and create a username and a password. You could use your first and last name put together as your username. It does work. If it doesn't, put a period between your first and last name. Just something that's easy to remember. Click Next, and then you're going to want to continue creating the profile. What type of travel do you book for your clients? Leisure, corporate, or both? So I would put leisure or corporate. In the beginning stages, click both because you don't know where your travel crew is going to go to, and there are advantages of having a corporate client and advantages of having leisure clients. So you want to be able to get that information from them as you need. What type of WestJet bookings do you make for your clients? This drop-down box is going to give you WestJet flights and WestJet vacations. Select both. You will use both. Your home airport, pick the closest international airport that is located in the drop-down box to you. I put Winnipeg because that's my town. In Business Development Manager, right now, we're in between the BDM, so just leave it as I don't know or none, but you can leave this blank. If you have a WestJet rewards number, you can enter it in the bottom box there too. Once you get it filled out, click Next. So your profile is completed, so just a little bit more information. Notification from WestJet about important information such as fee changes, product details, promotions, and more. These are electronic promotions, so please check off all of them. If you find out that you're getting it too much or it's just not relevant to your business, you can always unsubscribe to them later, but it's better to get them in the beginning so you can see what's out there for you. All right. Also, select your preferred language or French. I speak English, so that's why mine is set to English. Click on Finish, and your profile is created. Right now, I want you to click Sign In. It's going to take you back to the sign-in page, and then we're going to be able to log in. This is the landing page. This is where all the information that WestJet needs you to know currently is going to be put. Just like any other landing page, it's all the information there at a brief glance for you. You can go into all these sections in further detail as well, like the resources, current offers, promos. So not everything is going to be put out there in commercials or in the print media and stuff like that. So there is actually a lot of information and a lot of promos out there that clients don't know about. So if your client wants to do a Vegas or a all-inclusive down to Mexico, check out here. You might be able to get a better deal with WestJet Vacations or WestJet Flights. Like you can see kids and teens stay free at select Palace Resorts in Mexico. Why not check out that promo if you have a client going down with their family to Mexico? Okay, or even that Orlando Vacations. Check it out if you have a group going down, okay? They do have a training section as well. So if they have any new products or any new services that they want to let you know about, you can watch the short videos that they load. With them acquiring a whole bunch of 787s, they've been really promoting the 787 service, especially with the business class service that they have. They even have a fun little webinar on the Hawaiian travel agent, Hawaiian language there. They do have news as well as contests, so any updated news that they want to know, and they can find it here. So as you can see, there's a lot of COVID-19 updates going on, face mask requirements, WestJet domestic flight changes. So a lot of agents are using this during this certain period. They're coming here a lot because of all the updated changes. You can see there was pretty much one a week going on, and some there was a couple times a day. So if you miss or you need to touch base on something, you can always come here and get those updated policies. Another thing that you can do is you can actually access WestJet Flights and WestJet Vacations directly from the resource site. So what I recommend is set the resource site as your bookmark. So when your clients do come to you for a WestJet flight or a WestJet vacation package, you can get into WestJet Resource. You can take a look at the current news on the landing page and then toggle yourself into either WestJet Flights or WestJet Vacations. In this lesson, we're going to go through the WestJet Travel Agent Portal. I want to let you know that if you're booking a WestJet flight, domestic, transborder, that's Canada to the United States, or any of WestJet's international destinations, you're going to be wanting to use the WestJet Travel Agent Portal. This is WestJet's agent sign-in screen. To access the sign-in screen, I do recommend going through the travel agent resource site. The reason that you want to do this is because WestJet will load any updated information they have or their latest promotions for your current client or any clients that you are working on. All you need to do is click on the WestJet Flights tab in the top right-hand portion of the screen, and it's going to take you to the agent sign-in screen. To get your username and your password, you're going to go to the FareConnect user site and search WestJet, and you're going to find your unique username and your initial password. Once you log in, you're going to be sent to the dashboard. There's a couple things you can do here: create bookings or search for your current clients. We're going to take a quick look at the e-receipt, because when you search for a client, you need that reservation code. That's a 6-letter code that your bookings are going to be registered under. You're going to put that in PNR. To create a booking, you just click on Create a Booking. It's going to come to the Search for Flights page. WestJet will always default to a round trip booking. You can also do your one-ways and also multi-city. Multi-city defaults to 2 different lines, so that's good for your open jaws. But if you need a third, add another flight, you can actually add up to 5 different departing points. For the example of the booking, we're going to look at a round trip ticket. You can search one of 3 ways: through their airport code, type in the city, or use the drop-down like displayed on your screen. We're going to look at a Winnipeg to Gatwick flight. We're looking at the 15th of August 2020 to the 22nd of August of 2020. For the guest, you can enter in the amount of adults or children or infants. Please know, when you're both kids, children are considered 2 to 11 years old. If they're 12 or older, they're considered an adult ticket. Infants under 2 are normally sat on lap. If your parents want their children to be seated on a seat, you need to call the travel agent support line to have them book that ticket for you. You'll also notice a coupon code. Sometimes WestJet releases promotional codes that you need to use in the system. This is where you're going to enter it. The system will automatically calculate the percentage off and if blackout dates apply to that promotional code. Once everything is inputted the way you want it, all you need to do is hit search and the results will appear. When you hit search, you're going to come to the calendar of dates. I don't want you quoting off this page. I want you to use it as a reference to help guide your clients through the quoting process. So you can notice that on the 15th of August, the price is $482.16. But you can also see on the 16th of August that it's slightly less expensive at $475.16. So you can actually ask, are you flexible to leave on Sunday, because you might be able to save them some money? Alternatively, you can also look at the calendar, just like on the returning portion, where there's no flights on the 21st or the 23rd. So you can actually word this in a way saying the 22nd is the last day I have available in your calendar of dates, so we should book this sooner than later, or you might lose out on this fare. I really want you to take a look at that August 15th price. It's $482.16 on this page. So we've continued over to selecting our departing flight. So we're going to get a little bit more specific. So we have our times of days and our routes that we can select from. On the top there, you're still going to get some flexibility. So we have 3 days prior and 3 days after. Now remember, I asked you to note Saturday, August 15th price. On this page, the system's communicated live to WestJet, and the price has actually gone down. This is one of the reasons why I say don't quote off that calendar page and just use it as a reference for you to guide your clients onto a more firm departure time. To view more times on this page and to get to the return portion of the trip, all you need to do is scroll down. Economy is broken up in basic, econo, econo flex. Premium and business is broken up as premium, premium flex, business, and business flex. I just want to take a couple moments to talk about the basic economy fare. The basic economy fare is the least expensive and the most restrictive. Basic economy is also not combinable with any other fare. So if you book basic in one direction, they have to fly basic in the other. Another thing to note, basic economy is very restricted, as I mentioned earlier. They're non-refundable, non-changeable, and there's no travel credit issued. There's also no WestJet rewards earned on these flights. So if your clients say they earn WestJet rewards and that's important to them, just go straight to the econo. If your clients do want to fly basic, you have to accept these restrictions on their behalf. On the right side of the screen, you're going to see your booking summary. This is what you can use to build your quote. You do need to disclose the rules to your clients. So all you need to do is follow this bit.ly link and you'll take you to the WestJet Terms and Conditions page. The page itself looks like this. You'll notice that WestJet Flights Terms and Conditions and WestJet Vacations Terms and Conditions are accessible through the same link. So bookmark that on your browser. You're going to follow the WestJet Flights Terms and Conditions. And you're going to scroll until you find this information. I'm going to give you a hint. You need this for your test. So you'll notice that basic, econo, econo flex, business fares, and premium flex and business flex are all summarized on this page. So please give it a read and get used to it, just so when you are quoting, you know where to find this information. Once your clients accept your quote and you're ready to purchase, click on continue. You're going to be taken to the guest details page. So depending on if your client's traveling internationally, they're going to need their information exactly as it appears on the picture page of their passport. If they're traveling domestic, it's the information exactly as it appears on the government issue photo they're going to be traveling with. I do recommend that you open this plus symbol. So enter in the name as per the identification they're traveling with, the date of birth and gender, as well as their travel preferences. I want you to note in special request, this is for people traveling with wheelchairs, gate to gate, up and down steps, or into the aircraft itself. It's also where you're going to identify clients who are either deaf or partial hearing, blind, or partial sighted. I recommend that if you have anybody with special requests that you contact WestJet's travel support line and let them know, because the ground crew as well as the flight crew need to know this information, either to make sure that they're prepared at the airport with a wheelchair or to provide special instructions in terms of the emergency guidelines on the aircraft. As well, some passengers, they actually get free seat selection even if they're buying a class of service where they have to pay extra for it, because the flight crew need to know where these individuals are seated on the aircraft. After you enter in the guest details, you're going to be optioned to select seats. Depending on the class of service, there might be a fee or it may be included. I also want you to notice that one of these seats has an L on it. These are less desirable. They're usually close to the bathroom or they're behind the emergency exit where the seats don't recline. Once you select the seat options, you can continue to payment. If your clients choose not to select seats because it's an added cost and they're going to wait 24 hours prior to departure for the free seat selection, you're going to be reminded that not all the seats have been selected. So you can either cancel and go back to select seats, or you can continue on. This is the payment page. WestJet takes all major forms of credit cards as well as gift cards. They're going to give you one last opportunity to review the rules of the ticket, and then you're going to accept the terms and conditions and submit payment. Once you confirm payment, you're going to receive your e-ticket receipt, which contains the reservation code, and everybody on the booking is going to have the same code. This is what they're going to use to check in at the airport or on the app. It's also going to be how they manage the booking, so if they want to select meals later, they can use this code to do so. Every individual on the reservation is going to have a unique ticket number. WestJet always plates the 838, followed by 10 digits. Frequent flyer number is going to be displayed here as well. If it's not, don't worry. You can always add a frequent flyer number after the booking. Your baggage allowance is also included, as well as the information relating to the particular flight. And that concludes the WestJet portal training. You can proceed to the Air Canada module now.
Preparing a quote and practical exercises, lesson 7. This lesson is going to take the fundamentals of the previous lessons and is going to demonstrate how to prepare a flight quote. You are going to be shown how to build both a domestic and an international quote that can be presented to a prospective client. The first video demonstrates how to prepare a quote in Inter by travel brands. It is important to pay attention to the details as there are tips provided to make it easier for you. The second video is going to walk you through the process of building a quote using the WestJet Travel Support page. Instructions. Watch the video entitled International Quote and also the domestic quote. International quote. Quote.
So I'm just going to show you how to put together a quote for a flight that you're going to be pulling through Inter. I've already sourced the information. You're going to see a Winnipeg to Minneapolis, Minneapolis to London Heathrow flight. It's on April 4th of 2021. It's going to return on April 11th, London Heathrow via Minneapolis and into Winnipeg. We've already taken the time to put together the quote, and I'm going to show you where to find this information. So on your Inter page, after you follow the instructions that Jeff showed you on his presentation, you're going to get to the final page that you want to send to the client through your qualification questions. You'll notice this is not very client friendly. It has airport codes and it's in the 24-hour clock. You'll also notice that it lands on the 5th of April. Remember that presentation that I talked about time zones? They're not actually landing on day, so the clients are losing a day just in travel. We're going to go over to my quote here. You're going to notice that I've changed the airports to actual cities. And because London has multiple airports, I put London, but I did leave the airport code in just so the clients know which landing in the London area. You're also going to notice that I've changed the times from the 24-hour clock and I put it into regular AM, PM time because this is what your clients are most likely going to be used to. There's one thing that your clients may ask you a question about, and this is just what I do. I put +1. That just lets the clients know that they're going to be arriving one day after. I would have already told them this in my discussion with them, but this is just something I like to put here so the clients know. It is going to be clearly noted on the itinerary that you can actually send yourself to forward over with the client with your quote to your client as well. You're going to notice that I put in the basic rules on the quote as well. I have my cancellation, I have my change fee. I have $350, it's an anytime cancellation, and I have my change fee of $300, which is the administration charge. You can see here that I put plus difference in fare. That's just letting the clients know that this is just the administration charge, and if anything more needs to be collected due to a price increase, they're going to have to pay that as well. My clients wanted to see baggage included in their flight ticket, so I made sure to let them know. And if they wanted an additional bag, they're going to have to pay for that. As well, seat selection for this particular flight is not included, so I put seat selection at a fee. If my clients want any further information about this particular flight or itinerary, they are more than welcome to go to www.delta.com. Now, before I go any further, I want to show you how I got this information. The baggage is really simple. It's right here. It says one bag free. You can see here that Inter is even including a hyperlink that I can click on that will let me go to the airline's webpage. I'm not going to go there now, but if you want to go through and play around in Inter site and take advantage and sort of explore and see what happens, more than welcome. I encourage you to go and quote and bring up these mock pricings for yourself. Changes. It just says changes and cancellations. It is, again, a hyperlink. All you need to do is click on it. and the system is going to load the current change policies and the current cancellation policies for this particular flight. Just to make it a little easier, for the first few times you go into the system, just drag that open for you, okay? Just going to be a little bit easier than a little box look at. In the presentation, I told you consolidators do charge their own cancellation, change, and void fees. You'll notice right here, it says, in addition to carrier's penalties, if applicable, service fees of $50 per ticket plus GST, QST are applicable to each void, refund, or reissue transaction on any change in the form of payment. On my quote, in addition to airline fees, I put Inter cancel, change, void, $50 plus GST per person. I'm informing my clients that if they book this ticket and they want to do any of these additional transactions, Inter is going to charge that $50 on top of these penalties as well. To make my life easy, what I do is I usually copy and paste the supplier's terms and conditions, and then I just change the supplier name, in this case Inter, to FareConnect. So my clients know that if they want to do a change, they're going to pay the airline fee as well as the consolidator fees, and I'm also going to take administration cost on top of that. Remember, if your clients want to do a change, it's going to be a lot of work on your end, so do not be afraid to charge that fee. To get these rules right here, you're going to take a little time. The first few times, you're going to really want to be a little bit more diligent to the detail here. As you get used to these documents, it's going to be easier to see. This is a fair basis. Most of the time, you'll only see one of these. But if you see two, you have to check both. And you have to put the most restrictive rule on your quote. Because if you put the most restrictive rule, your clients are going to be happy if they're going to get a lower penalty cost than if you put the lowest penalty cost and then they're being charged that fee. So always put the bigger price, and your clients are going to be happy when you save the money. In reality, it's just saving you time. So in this case, cancellations anytime are charged $350 Canadian US, depending on what country they're in. So we're in Canada. I just put $350 anytime. I'm going to scroll down because we have change fees. Changes before May 31st of 2020 before departures are permitted. There's no dollar cost, but how come I put $300? Again, let's keep scrolling. After departure, still permitted. After June 1st, before departure, $300 US or Canadian, depending on the country they're in. That is why I put $300 there. Because if my clients decide to call me on the 1st, that change penalty applies. But if they call me on the 31st, I can quote the change without the penalty. But if they confirm on the 1st, I can still say, well, there's a $300 charge. I would always apply that to the fee. When your clients are doing cancellations and changes and you're quoting, it's always important to put subject to change until paid in full, because airlines have the right to change their fees or they change their fares at any time. Even if you hold a ticket in the system, that fare can change either by a few pennies, a few dollars, or even a couple $100. So always make sure you're putting subject to change until paid in full. Very important. I can't stress it enough. So we have all our rules. We only have one thing to do, our fare breakdown. I'm going to show you how to do this. So since we're booking an international flight in a consolidator, the FareConnect minimum markup is going to be $50. So let's take a look at what the airline maximum, airline minimum is, or what the net fare or published fare is going to be. There's no published fare, so it's just the net. The net base is $236. You can see here that I'm comfortable asking for a $100 markup because I feel I'm going to be providing this client with a lot of service. So I want to make sure I'm being valued for the amount of work that I'm putting through. You'll also notice that my taxes of $7.89.05 is the same as what's appearing on Inter's screen. That's because you never want to manipulate the taxes and fees. For whatever reason, these have to be broken out the same no matter what, so don't change them. You can even click on it to get the actual breakdown. So this fee is $440. There's a $25.91 tax or service fee there. XG is GST. So if you have corporate clients and they need that GST broken out, look for XG, $1.25. That's standard for all international tickets. Domestic is different, FYI. All these letters are a code for a certain service or a certain tax that your clients are going to be paying. Your clients pay everything from an oil surcharge to GST. There is even one in here for the custom service that they're going to be using inside the airport. You'll notice here that the tax total is $7.87.05. But Inter on this is going to be charging another fee, $2, just for using their service. That's why it's $7.89.05. So just make sure that you're putting $7.89.05 here. I'm just going to go over this. You don't always have to open that tab, by the way. I just wanted to show you how that number comes out. So what we're going to do here is we're going to make our total. So it's $1,125.05. You'll notice that my cents had not changed. That's because you never want to change the pennies. Your markups always have to be an even dollar amount. So never round your markup so the clients are paying an even amount. If there's pennies on it, you need to keep the pennies. So if the price goes up by 3 cents, adjust your price by 3 cents. So my price is now $1,125.05. You will notice that the maximum markup on this ticket is $1,077.05. So I'm actually going over my price by a bit. That means the difference between the two fares, they're going to see a charge for $1,077.05 from Delta, and they're going to see the remaining amount put through as an Inter charge. You have two options. Leave it the same, or you can make that part that's going to be rounded into an Inter charge an even dollar amount. So I can either increase my markup by $2 to make it an even 50, or I can reduce it by 8 to make it an even 40. Whatever you do, it's your choice. Some people just leave it the way it is, and that's it. For this demonstration, I'm not going to fool around with the pricing because I just wanted to show you how I come up with a flight quote for Inter. On the top of my quote, you're going to see some details. The airline, the supplier, and the passenger. Your clients are going to be flying on Delta. However, you are booking through Inter. So the supplier in this case is Inter. The airline they're flying on is Delta. You need to make sure that whenever you're quoting someone and you're making your own quotes, you have to let the person know who they're purchasing the trip through and who they're flying with, because they're subject to the supplier rules as well as the airline rules. So if I was going through WestJet Vacations and I was booking a Delta flight, I would put WestJet Vacations, they're flying on Delta, and so forth. Agencia, Huntington, that's what you would put here when you book those tickets. You'll also notice on the top here, I have the passenger's name. One thing I want you to know is I always start with the last name, and then I put the first name and middle name. Okay? This is important because your clients are going to need to know that their names are spelled correctly on the tickets. So when I'm quoting, I make sure I put the name that I got from the client, either written or through the picture page that they sent me by email, or if they've given me a photocopy. Always put it here, because then when I go to book this ticket, what I can do, they've confirmed this price with me. I just go like that. And that's how I enter the details when I'm getting my quotes approved from my clients. What I would do is, you'll notice here that I have put information, save this as a PDF. So what I would do is I would actually take this, would delete that there, and I would put as the title. I go to File. I would save this as a PDF. Once I have the PDF saved, I attach it to the email and I send it to the client for the review. I make a professional sounding email, sort of like saying, Mr. Smith, I've attached the PDF for your trip to London from April 4th to the 11th. Please review everything. Make sure your names are spelled correctly. Times and dates are the way you like it. If it's acceptable, let me know and I can book the trip. When you get that email back saying, yes, please book, call the client, get the credit card, and charge it through the system. Thank you very much for watching this. This is the video for Inter. The next step, you're going to see a domestic ticket, and I'm going to show you how to do it. WestJet and Air Canada, very similar. So watch that one as well. I'm just going to show you how to put together a quote when you book directly through the airline. Air Canada and WestJet, you already watched the videos on how to navigate the site. So if you need a refresher, feel free to re-watch those videos. They're really easy to use. So I welcome you to go into each system and just play around in there and navigate the system and get used to it. The quoting process is very similar. I did take WestJet for this example for a couple reasons. It's a little bit more difficult to read, but at the same time, very simple. I take the information on my booking summary screen. When you're in WestJet and Air Canada, note the differences. Air Canada breaks this out by flight segment, whereas WestJet puts it into one flight from start to finish. But you on your quote should be breaking it apart. So the information for the first segment here, that's the flight number. Departing Winnipeg, and it's arriving in Calgary at 9:07. So I'm going to put that information in the two lines here because I have two separate flights. So I like to have two lines for my clients to view. The second segment is going to be WS125, leaving Calgary and arriving in Vancouver. So I'm going to put those on my bottom two lines right here. Okay. On the return, it's the same format. You have your departure, your first segment, and then you have your second segment in the same way. And there's the return flight. The fare breakdown, I'm just going to show you here. You'll notice that my base is the same as the base on the summary. The reason is you can't mark up a purchase that you're doing directly through WestJet or Air Canada. It's just not possible. So if you do want to make a little bit more money than the small amount of commission you're going to earn, email accounting@fairconnect.com and someone will email you back the procedure on doing so, and they can charge a service fee through the FairConnect merchant number. You can do $25, $35, $50, whatever you choose. Just really follow the procedures, and I'll explain about GST and the added credit card fees along with the service fee. If you don't, you'll just make the commission that is based on the type of flight that you're selling, in this case, econo. As always, I include price subject to change until paid in full. With WestJet and Air Canada, you can't hold the seats like you can with a consolidator. I also have my own terms and conditions on the bottom of here, so if they want to do any cancellations or changes or voids, I do charge a $50. With WestJet and Air Canada, you have 24 hours to cancel the flights, and they get a full money back to the original form of payment, which is always a credit card. So if they want to cancel, I'm out commission. I may have worked on this file for half an hour, or maybe even 5 hours trying to get my clients the right flights. And if they turn around the next day and say, do you know what, I don't want that flight, I still want to be able to make some money. So I'm going to charge them $50 to cancel that flight. WestJet and Air Canada may say, we'll give you your money back. I want money for my time. Remember, we're here to make money. So value yourself. Another thing too that you're going to notice that's different than from the Inter example is I don't have a supplier. In this case, the airline is the supplier. I'm booking directly with them. So I just put WestJet Airlines. My passenger name's on the top, so they can confirm the spelling is correct as they told me. Because this is a domestic, they don't need to travel on a passport, they just need government photo ID. If this was to the United States or to an international destination, I would put maybe, as per passport, you might see a middle name. But just make sure that it's correct. That's all you need to do. Now we're going to talk about the change fees and the penalties here. So you're going to notice that I have a non-refundable flight. The change fee is $100 plus difference in fare. The first bag is $30 and seat selection is at a fee. So you'll notice that the price difference here is more than $30 on the way there, and it's also more than $30 on the way home. So it's actually beneficial for the client to pay extra for their bags than move into the fare class that includes that one free bag. So in this particular case, this person actually is okay with doing that. Because for $60, they're saving about $100. So I would actually tell my clients, if I include the bag, it's going to cost you $100 more. But if I don't include the bag, you're paying $60 at the airport and I'm saving you $40. My clients are going to think, that's fantastic. They're going to Vancouver. That's one meal in Vancouver at a nice dinner. Or it could be a couple lunches, maybe even an excursion you can sell them. So just really keep that in mind. You want to always show the savings that you're telling your client about. Also, my cancellation and change fee. What I do, WestJet times out very quickly. So if you do, when you're doing purchases, just try to go as efficiently as possible. I'm happy that came up because I wanted to tell you guys that. So one thing I do here is I always go into a new window. And I want to go here and I save this. I go into my bookmarks and I go into airlines. I have this saved here, so terms and conditions, and I just open it up. This is a WestJet flight only, so I go into WestJet flights. My fare information. So I'm just going to look for the most restrictive rules according to my file. In this case, it's a non-refundable flight and a $100 change fee plus difference in fare. The baggage information is closer to the bottom, so you can go there as well. So that's how I get the information. I also want to put on the airline webpage here for them as well. So I can actually say, if you want more information about your flight, you're more than welcome to go to www.westjet.com to get that information. If this was an Air Canada, I would put the aircanada.ca webpage on there. But this is just a quick and easy way for me to quote to my clients. Just like the Inter flight, I would save this as a PDF, and then I would email it to the client for approval. When I got that approval, I would call them for their credit card number, and I would charge the credit card directly through WestJet. If it was Air Canada, directly through Air Canada, and then I would send the e-tickets over to the client as soon as they were sent to me. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great day.
Okay, next lesson. How to invoice flights. The purpose of this lesson is to show you how to enter the details of a flight booking into a client's trip. To be able to watch this video, you will need to log in to Client Link. Your credentials can be found on the Fair Connect resource site. Remember to click on the eye. Once you log into Client Link, click on Resource Center, then open the video folder, click on Client Link, how to invoice a flight-only booking. So let's go now, next lesson. this is the final assessment. You are going to be presented with one domestic and one international scenario to research and quote to two different clients. The needs of both parties vary and each situation is unique. These scenarios are available to download by following the thumbnails below. You can use the templates from the previous lesson, or you may develop a template on your own. You can source the domestic flight from WestJet or Air Canada. The international flight can be sourced from an Inter. SIRIB codes will not be accepted for this exercise. Your credentials for the above suppliers are located on the AirConnect resource site. If you need a password reset for WestJet, okay, yun na, done. Okay, it's already done. So this is my assignment to finish. Okay, then it's done. Okay. Okay, thank you. It's done now. Ito pala. And